I'm standing in the middle of a stranger's living room, staring at my grandmother's piano. My hands are shaking so bad I almost drop my phone. "That's not yours," I say, my voice cracking. The man in front of me frowns. "I bought it fair and square this morning." I step closer, running my fingers across the worn wood, the tiny scratch on the corner, the faded ivory keys. It's the same piano I cried over when my grandmother passed, the same one my stepmother said was junk. "You didn't buy it from the owner," I whisper. The man's expression shifts. "What are you talking about?" My phone buzzes in my hand again. It's her. A new message from my stepmother. "Stop causing problems. It's gone. Move on." I slowly look back at the man. "No," I say, my voice turning cold. "You're the one with a problem now." And that's when I decide, I'm not just getting the piano back, I'm gonna take everything she thought she stole from me. My name is Ava Monroe. I'm 23, and I'm telling this because some people think they can erase you like you never mattered. Before all this, my life was quiet. Not perfect, but stable. I grew up in a small house just outside Nashville, Tennessee. Music was always in the air. My grandmother, Nana Elise, was the heart of it. She didn't just play the piano, she lived through it. When I was little, I used to sit beside her for hours, watching her hands move like magic. "Feel it, Ava," she would say. "Don't just press the keys, let them speak." That piano wasn't just furniture, it was her voice, her memory, her love. When she passed away, she left the piano to me in her will. I remember holding the papers with shaking hands, feeling like she had left a piece of herself behind just for me. But everything changed after my dad remarried. Her name was Danielle. At first, she acted sweet, smiled too much, complimented everything, but there was always something off, like she was studying the house, not living in it. After my dad passed 2 years later, things got worse, way worse. The warmth disappeared, the fake kindness faded, and suddenly everything in the house became hers. "You're an adult now," she would say. "You should be grateful I'm letting you stay." Stay? This was my home. But I didn't argue. I couldn't. I was still finishing college, working part-time, trying to keep my life together while grieving both my dad and my grandmother. The piano became my escape. Late at night, when Danielle was asleep, I would sit there and play, softly, carefully. It felt like Nana was still with me, until one morning, everything broke. I walked into the living room and froze. The piano was covered. A thick gray sheet draped over it like it didn't matter anymore. "What is this?" I asked. Danielle didn't even look up from her coffee. "It's taking up too much space." My chest tightened. "It's not yours." She smiled slightly. Not kind, not warm, sharp. "It's in my house." That sentence hit harder than anything. I wanted to argue. I wanted to scream, but something inside me held back, because I saw it. The way she looked at everything in that room, like she was slowly erasing us. Me, my dad, my grandmother, all gone. A few days later, I came home from work and saw the truck. 2 men were lifting the piano. My piano. I stood there on the sidewalk, frozen, watching them carry it out like it meant nothing. Danielle walked out behind them, holding her phone. "Oh, good, you're here. Move your car. They need space." I didn't move. I didn't say anything. One of the movers hesitated. "Is this okay?" Danielle waved her hand. "It's fine." All eyes turned to me. And that's when I made my first decision. I stepped back, silently, letting them pass, letting them take it. Danielle smirked, thinking she had won, thinking I was weak. But I wasn't. I was watching, learning, waiting. 2 hours later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Hi, is this Ava?" a man voice asked. "Yes." "I just bought a piano earlier today. The woman who sold it gave me your number, said you might want it back if I was willing to resell." My heart started pounding. "What did she tell you?" I asked quietly. "That it belonged to her late husband's family, but she didn't care for it." I closed my eyes. She didn't care for it. That was her story. That was how she erased my grandmother. "I want to see it," I said quietly, and that's how I ended up standing in that living room, realizing something important. This wasn't just about a piano anymore. This was about everything she had taken from me, and I was done staying quiet. I didn't argue with the man. Not yet. I took a slow breath and forced myself to stay calm. "How much did you pay for it?" I asked. He told me. It was low, way too low. Of course it was. Danielle didn't care about value. She cared about getting rid of anything that reminded her this wasn't originally her life. "I'll buy it back," I said immediately. He hesitated. I just got it. My wife actually loves it." That stung, because I knew exactly how that felt. "I'm not trying to take it from you," I said softly, "but that piano, it was left to me, legally." That word made him pause. "Legally?" he repeated. "Yes," I said, "I have proof." There was silence for a moment. Then he sighed. "Okay, come tomorrow. Bring whatever you have." I nodded. "Thank you." As I walked out of his house, my hands finally stopped shaking, but my mind, it was racing. Because this wasn't just about convincing him. This was bigger, way bigger. That night, I didn't go home. Not right away. Instead, I sat in my car outside a small coffee shop in downtown Nashville, staring at my phone. Then I made a call. "Lena?" I said when she picked up. "Girl, you sound like you just saw a ghost," she replied. "Worse," I said. "Danielle sold Nana's piano." Silence. Then, oh, she really messed up. Lena had been my best friend since high school. She knew everything, every detail about my family, every late-night breakdown. And most importantly, she didn't play nice when someone crossed a line. "I need help," I said. "You already have it. What's the plan?" That question hung in the air, because for the first time, I actually had one. "Step 1, I said slowly, "I get the piano back." "Easy," Lena said. "What's step 2? I looked down at my hands. "Step 2, I prove she had no right to sell it." Lena whistled softly. "Okay, now we're talking. I still have Nana's will and messages. Danielle literally told me it wasn't hers." "Perfect," Lena said. "Save everything. Screenshot everything. Don't confront her yet." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. That part was important. No emotional explosion, no warning. Danielle thought I was weak, quiet, easy to push aside, and I was going to let her keep believing that just a little longer. The next morning I went back to the house. I walked in like nothing had changed. Danielle was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone like always. She glanced up. "You're back early." "Yeah," I said casually. "Shift got cut." She shrugged, already losing interest. "Good. That made this easier." "I'm going to my room," I added. She didn't respond, didn't care. Perfect. The moment I closed my door, I got to work. I pulled out every document I had. Nana's will, old photos of me sitting at the piano as a kid, videos of her playing, laughing, teaching me. Then I opened my messages. There it was, Danielle's text from last week. It's not even valuable, just old wood taking space. I took screenshots, saved everything, backed it up twice. If she thought this was just about emotions, she was about to learn it wasn't. Later that day, I met Lena at her apartment. She spread everything out across the table like we were building a case. "Okay," she said, pointing. "This proves ownership. This proves intent. And this," she tapped my phone, "proves she knew it wasn't hers." I felt something shift inside me. Confidence. Control. For the first time since my dad passed, I didn't feel powerless. "What about the buyer?" Lena asked. "I'm seeing him tonight," I said. She nodded. "Good. Be honest, but also be smart." I raised an eyebrow. "Smart how?" Lena smiled, the kind of smile that meant trouble. "Because getting the piano back," she said, "that's just the beginning." That evening I stood outside the house again, but this time I wasn't shaking. I wasn't emotional. I was ready. I knocked on the door. He opened it, holding a folder. "I did some checking," he said. My heart skipped. "What kind of checking?" I asked carefully. He looked straight at me. "The kind that makes me think I didn't just buy a piano." A pause. Then he added, "I might have just walked into something a lot bigger." I didn't answer right away. I just looked at him, trying to read his face. "Can I come in?" I asked. He stepped aside without word. The piano sat in the corner, untouched. like it was waiting for me. But I didn't go to it. Not yet. "What did you find?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. He held up the folder in his hand. "I looked up the name on the bill of sale your stepmother gave me." My jaw tightened slightly. "And?" I asked. "It doesn't match the property records," he said. "The house is still partially in your father's name, which means," he paused, watching my reaction, "she might not have had the legal right to sell anything inside it." There it was. Exactly what I needed. I nodded slowly. She didn't. He studied me for a moment, then sighed. "Look, I don't want trouble. My wife doesn't either." "You won't get any," I said quickly. "I'm not here to drag you into anything. I just want what's mine." He hesitated again, glancing toward the piano. Then he said something I didn't expect. "How about this?" he said. "You take the piano back, and I give you the paperwork she signed." I blinked. "What?" "She rushed the sale," he said. "Barely checked anything, signed everything herself. If you're telling the truth," he handed me the folder, "this could help you." I took it slowly, my fingers tightening around the edges. This wasn't just proof. This was leverage. "Thank you," I said quietly. He nodded. "Just handle it the right way." I gave a small, cold smile. "Oh, I will." That night, the piano was back where it belonged, in the living room, exactly where Danielle had said it didn't fit. I made sure of that. I didn't hide it. I didn't wait. I wanted her to see it. The front door opened around 9 p.m. I was sitting on the bench, my fingers gently pressing the keys. A soft melody filled the room, the same one Nana used to play. I heard Danielle freeze in the doorway. "What is that?" she said sharply. I didn't stop playing. "It's the piano," I replied calmly. "That's not possible," she snapped, walking in. "I sold it." I finally turned to look at her. "Yeah, you tried." Her face changed instantly. Confusion, then anger. "Where did you get it?" she demanded. "I brought it back," I said simply. "You had no right." "I had every right," I cut in. Silence dropped between us. Heavy, tense. Her eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" I stood up slowly, holding the folder in my hand. "You sold something that wasn't yours." "It was in my house," she shot back. "No, it was in our house, and it was left to me." She laughed. Actually laughed. "You think a piece of paper changes anything?" I tilted my head slightly. "Not just one piece." I opened the folder and pulled out the documents. Nana's will, the bill of sale, screenshots of her messages. One by one, I placed them on the table in front of her. Her smile faded, just a little. "You told the buyer it was yours. You signed everything yourself. You didn't even check if you could." She didn't speak, didn't move. Good, that meant she was starting to understand. "This isn't just about a piano anymore," I said quietly. Her eyes snapped up at mine. "What are you trying to say?" I stepped closer, lowered my voice. "I'm saying, if I wanted to, I could make this a very serious problem for you." For the first time since I met her, Danielle looked unsure. "You're bluffing," she said, but it didn't sound confident. I shook my head slowly. I'm done being quiet. The next few days, everything changed. I didn't argue, I didn't yell. I moved smart. I spoke to a lawyer Lena recommended, showed them everything, and what they told me made everything even clearer. Danielle hadn't just crossed a line, she stepped way over it. "She can't just sell inherited property like that," the lawyer said, "and depending on how far you want to go, you have options." Options. That word stayed in my head, because now I wasn't reacting anymore. I was choosing. Back at home, Danielle avoided me. No comments, no attitude, just silence. But I knew her. She wasn't done. She was waiting, planning something. And honestly, so was I. 3 nights later, she finally spoke. I was in the kitchen when she walked in. "We need to talk," she said. I leaned against the counter. "About what?" Her jaw tightened. "About this situation." I smiled slightly. "Which part? The part where you sold something that wasn't yours? Or the part where it came back?" Her eyes flashed. "Don't push me." I straightened, stepped closer. "Or what?" I asked quietly. Silence. Then she said something that made everything click. You think you can take this house from me. There it was. Not the piano, not the argument. The house. That was her real game. I let out a small breath, then smiled, because now I finally knew exactly where to strike next. The moment she said, the house, everything became clear. This was never about space, never about a piano. Danielle wasn't trying to clean up the house. She was trying to erase everyone who came before her so she could own it completely. I looked at her, really looked this time. You're scared, I said quietly. Her expression hardened. I'm not scared of you. I gave a small nod. Not of me, of losing control. That hit. I saw it in the way her fingers tightened, the way her shoulders stiffened. You don't know what you're talking about, she snapped, but her voice wasn't steady anymore, and that told me everything. The next morning, I made my move. Not loud, not dramatic, precise. I met the lawyer again. We went through everything. Ownership records, Nana's will, my dad's documents, and then came the part Danielle never expected. She doesn't fully own the house, the lawyer said. Not even close. I leaned forward. Explain. Your father's share didn't automatically transfer to her, he continued, and depending on the will and inheritance structure, you may actually have a legal claim here. My heart started racing. A claim? I repeated. He nodded. A strong one. That was it. That was the moment. This wasn't just about getting something back anymore. This was about taking back everything she tried to rewrite. 2 days later, I set the stage. I didn't warn her, I didn't argue. I just waited until she walked into the living room. The piano was there again, front and center. And this time, I wasn't playing softly. I let every note ring. Clear, strong, unavoidable. She walked in, already irritated. Can you stop doing that every night? I kept playing. Then slowly, I stopped and turned to face her. We need to talk, I said. Her arms crossed. Finally. I stood up, calm and steady. I spoke to a lawyer, I said. Her expression didn't change at first. Then I added, about the piano and the house. That's when it shifted. Just slightly, but enough. You went behind my back, she said. I almost laughed. Behind your back, I repeated. You sold something that wasn't yours. Oh, we're still on that, she said with an eye roll. No, I said firmly, we're past that. Silence filled the room. Then I stepped closer. You don't own this house the way you think you do. That landed hard. She straightened. That's not true. It is, I said, and I have proof. I placed the documents on the table. Not rushed, not messy. Clean, organized, final. She didn't touch them. Didn't need to. She already knew. You're lying, she said, but her voice was thinner now. I'm not, I replied, and if this goes further, it's not just going to be uncomfortable for you. I let that hang. Didn't need to explain more. She understood. People like Danielle always do when things get real. The room went quiet for a long time. Then finally, she sat down. Slowly, like the weight of everything just hit her at once. What do you want? She asked. And there it was. Not anger, not control. A question. I took a breath. This was the moment I had been building toward. I want what's mine, I said. She looked up at me. Which is? My grandmother's piano stays. No arguments, no comments. She nodded once. And? She asked. I held her gaze. We figure out the house situation legally, fairly. No more lies. Her lips pressed together, but she couldn't argue, because she couldn't. A week later, things were different. Quiet, but not tense. Just settled. Danielle stayed out of my way. No more comments about space, no more passive-aggressive looks, just distance. And honestly, that was enough. One night, I sat at the piano again, alone. The house felt lighter somehow, like it could finally breathe. My fingers moved across the keys, playing the same melody Nana used to love. Soft, steady, familiar. And for the first time in a long time, it didn't feel like I was holding on to something that was slipping away. It felt like I had taken it back. All of it. I used to think staying quiet made me weak, that not reacting meant losing, but I was wrong. because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is wait, watch, and then strike exactly where it matters. Danielle thought she could erase my story, turn my memories into nothing, sell them off like they didn't matter. But she learned something the hard way. Some things don't disappear. They come back, stronger, and this time, they don't leave.